I see why it
Haters, go ahead and recognize that when you speak.
This is gross, fam. I think it still brings off the vibe that this is a sermon that was taught about Jesus, and therefore, I'm not rocking with this. You know what I mean? I'm not rocking with this, and I think we have to then ask ourselves.
Ruslan.
Did you see the Nike and LeBron commercial after he broke the record, basically celebrating worship out of pocket? Let me look this up.
Do we have anyone in the building today willing to testify? Talk to me now. He's done so much already. We've witnessed him do so much already.
I get why there was controversy for this commercial. I only saw the commercial. I didn't hear the audio. But if they're positioning this fool as the savior, I see why it, I get it. We've
heard about the things this man can do already. Cleveland is a city of...
Dag, yo, this is about Jesus? Wow.
Once again. And we just can't help but celebrate him. Haters, go ahead and recognize that when you speak...
This is gross, fam.
Hey, on his name, you're gonna go higher, higher, higher. So excuse me while I cut a step, because I can't help but to honor him, and I can't help but to lift him up. And I got one last question for you. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? I said, can I get a witness? Yeah!
What a terrible commercial. What a terrible commercial. And you know what the frustrating part about this is? That LeBron went to a 116 concert when he was in high school. No, it was a cross movement concert when he was in high school. And my buddy DJ Official, rest in peace, met him when he was a high school phenomenon. And so it was either a 116 concert or it was a cross movement concert. He definitely he was definitely going to church back in the day. Backstory. So there's some backstory. It's not an actual sermon. They hired a choir and worship leader, pastor, to record this, but to me, it's worse. You know what? If they did that, I don't think it's worse. It's actually, to me, it would be not as bad because they made it sound like it was about Jesus, but maybe they legitimately wrote it about LeBron and then just packaged it as a sermon. I think that's not as bad. I think it still brings off the vibe that this is a sermon that was taught about Jesus and therefore is about LeBron being like Jesus because whatever. It's just in poor taste. They would never do something like this with Islam. They would never do something like this with another religion, with Hinduism, with Buddhism. They would never do that with another faith. It's the same old, like, you just feel very comfortable and flippant to talk about Christian things as if you will never be held accountable. And a lot of times, you know, like I'm not a big LeBron fan as it is, but like I think I've owned maybe a pair of LeBrons once or twice in my life, but I would definitely never buy another pair of LeBrons after this, personally.
Hey, you want to see something crazy? 67% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. Do me a quick favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on all the videos here on the Blessed God Studios channel.
But does it confirm his whole King James thing? That's a good point. Does this just confirm his entire King James debacle and all that, that he's kind of been rocking with? Is that the same thing? Is that just a play on words? I'm not rocking with this. You know what I mean? I'm not rocking with this. And I think we have to then ask ourselves, I'm not saying we should always be outraged over stuff like this, because I don't think that's always helpful either. But my question is, if stuff like this can happen, and say you aren't like getting in the word regularly and discipled by Jesus and, you know, discipled in a church, following Jesus, like say you're like a casual Christian, right? Which I think is an oxymoron, but let's just pretend for this oxymoron. Like, at what point even the guy that kind of goes to church occasionally and like, yeah, like I know I don't read my Bible as often as I should and yada, 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 right? But let's just say that person, like, at what point does that person go, yeah, nah, like I'm done, right? Because that person will go out of their way to find some potential conspiracy thing, some Illuminati thing, whatever, but keep wearing their LeBrons, right? I think when that person that's very intrigued into all the so-and-so did such and such and this means this is a sign of this, right? The moment that just a casual, I go to church once a year. My grandmother took me to church when I was a kid. The moment that person stops wearing LeBrons, I think that's the moment when Nike will have to be like, all right, like, we got to chill. We got to chill. You think Bron made this commercial maybe? I don't know if he would have had anything to do with it. No, it's a Nike commercial. He definitely signed off on it. He definitely signed off on it. I don't think something like that's coming out without him personally signing off or his agent signing off, you know? And so I think that is where, in my opinion, I think that's where my question just goes, well, at one point, they will stop doing stuff like this when we take our dollars somewhere else. And the tough part is that a lot of us already don't rock with LeBron like that, you know? A lot of us already like, yo, you just kind of said some bogus things over the years, kind of weirdo on some of this stuff. But it's not about us. It's about the people that are like not all the way in church yet, but they're kind of going to church and they still rock LeBrons when they hoop a couple times a week. You guys tracking what I'm saying? That's the part that is going to be like getting those people to be like, yeah, no, I'm spending my money with somebody else. But maybe it will. Who knows? You know? Because it's fun to be outraged at Nike for Lil Nas X, which that legitimately they had nothing to do with that shoe. Nike sued Lil Nas X for that. It's fun to be outraged by stuff like this, but stuff like that. But stuff like this is like, oh, it's okay. It's art. You know, whatever the goofy, it's his authentic self, whatever nonsensical response it is to that. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Stripes over checks, Adidas. Yeah, I was also thinking about the Lil Nas X thing too. Yeah, like Nike got dragged for the Lil Nas X thing and made sure to very clearly distance themselves from Lil Nas X. This is, I would say, you know, it's not the same because there's like human blood in there, but it's definitely blasphemous and pretty out there. So I wasn't planning on buying another pair of LeBrons, but I'm definitely not buying another pair of LeBrons after this. Because I think that's the only thing. I know it's like silly, like, oh, I'm not going to buy another pair. I know that sounds silly, and I would agree. But that's the only thing these corporations respect. What does it impact their bottom line? It all goes back to capitalism. I mean, I hate to oversimplify it, but it's all going to go back to that. Does it impact their bottom line? If it doesn't, then nothing will change.
Hey, this clip is from our daily after party stream. If you enjoyed it, consider signing up for our Patreon community for only $5 a month, where you get access to the replays of our daily after party streams, as well as the uncut extended versions of our podcast, Discord access that's private, and a discount code for our merch store, only $5 a month. And ultimately, it's the best way to help us contextualize the gospel of Jesus using media, podcasting, and of course, YouTube. The link for that is in the description or in the pinned comment. The perks are amazing. You should get on there. It's only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.